Today we are reacting to the craziest animations by Zack films. Like someone pooping on themselves and someone swallowing a watermelon whole. So let's get right into it.
I can bet all the money in my bank account that you have seen this YouTuber on your feed, Zack Films. Whether he was telling a story or a possible life-saving tip or traumatizing the living shit out of you, you have seen his videos. In the span of just 4 years, he was able to get 24 million subscribers and now averages around 2 to 4 billion views a month. And he already is on track to beat some of YouTube's biggest creators like Mr. Beast.
The dolls had massive eyes, puffed cheeks, and twisted mouths. And even though they were ugly, kids were desperate to have them. Thousands of parents lined up in front of stores, but only a few hundred dolls were ever in stock. When the doors opened, people shoved, punched, and even threw baseball bats just to grab a catcher's mitts after a radio station joked that they would drop some from a plane. But only the luckiest kids got the dolls they wanted until the craze ended. The dolls had...
Come here, Big Mac. Listen, Big Mac. You will never have a six-pack. 1, 2, 3. You got ready. Come here, Big Mac.
They drilled the deepest hole ever dug, reaching over 7 miles into the earth. And after 30 years of digging, they lowered down a microphone and captured this sound. Now, many believed they had drilled into hell itself, and even some said a demon had escaped through the hole. But it turned out the recording had never actually happened. Instead, Christian TV networks cut together sounds from a horror movie and used it to try and prove that hell exists. They drilled the deep...
One day, a snake slithered into a tool shed. While moving across the floor, it brushed against a sharp saw. The blade gave the snake a small cut. Startled and in pain, the snake turned around and bit the saw, but that only made things worse. The blade cut even deeper into its mouth. Now enraged, the snake decided to fight back. It wrapped itself tightly around the saw, trying to crush it with all its strength. But the tighter it squeezed, the more the saw tore through its own body, until eventually the snake lay dead, cut to pieces by the very thing it attacked. If only it had moved on, ignored the pain, and let go, it would have lived. Because sometimes, in trying to hurt those who hurt us, we only end up destroying ourselves.
The boiler exploded in the theater, sending 6-year-old Bobby flying into a wall. He died from his injuries, and in the 70 years since then, strange things have happened. Actors forget their lines, lights flicker, and props go missing. Even audience members lose valuable items. To make this stop, actors started leaving candy and toys for Bobby, and others even offer alcohol at the backstage shrine. No one knows if it's a prank or something paranormal, but if you visit, don't forget to leave Bobby a gift. The boiler exploded.
By the way, I forgot to tell you guys that John Cena retired from WWE. Let me put the wheel down.
If you strapped a baby to a pair of Cybertrucks to pull them, you would need 5,000 of them just to make them move. Now, if you did the same thing with anacondas, it would take at least 106 giant suits to pull the truck. If you got Johnson to tow the trucks, you would need just 1.5 of him to get them rolling. If you strapped a baby, the girl took a Tylenol to help with a cold. But within hours, she was dead. Over the next few days, 6 more people in the area died the same way. The deaths triggered nationwide panic. Stores pulled Tylenol from shelves, and millions of bottles were recalled. Authorities launched a massive investigation and discovered the capsules had been laced with cyanide. The tragedy led to the invention of tamper-proof seals, but the poisoner was never caught. The girl took a Tylenol to help with a cold, but within hours she was dead. The mortician stole the gold fillings, then stacked bodies on top.
Great way to start the video, Zack D Films. Great way.
Each other to save money on cremation. These remains got mixed together, which meant loved ones received the ashes of several different people. When a rival mortician discovered this, he was shocked. He threatened to report it, but before he could, he died of a heart attack of just 24 years old. And investigators discovered that he had actually been poisoned. The first mortician was arrested and charged, making it the first case in the U.S. to list oleander as a murder weapon. The mortician stole the gold. After eating thousands of coins, he had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. The coins weighed as much as a bowling ball and made a hole in the man's stomach. The surgeons made an incision and pulled out the coins by hand and added them to a pile. But it didn't end there. More coins were stuck in his throat, and they had to stick a tube in to find them. After every coin had been removed, they closed up the man's stomach and he survived. After eating thousands of
Okay, guys. Why is this
he had to be rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. The coins weighed as much as a bowling ball and made a hole in the man's stomach. The surgeons made an incision and pulled out the coins by hand and added them to a
that's what I'm
pile.
saying.
But it didn't end there. More
No
coins were
survival
stuck in his
instinct
throat,
is worse
and they
than
had to stick a
someone
tube
who
in to
wants
find
to
them.
die.
After every coin had been removed, they closed
Yo.
up the eating thousands of
Yo,
coins.
literally
He had to be rushed to the
Damn.
hospital for an
Money
emergency
hungry,
surgery.
guys.
4 teens convicted of murder were called the Fairbanks Four. But were they innocent the whole time?
The device was placed on your head, with small metal sticks touching your face. Each stick was adjusted to measure your nose, lips, and forehead. These measurements were used to figure out the shape of your face. If your features were the right size, you were considered beautiful. But if something was too long or too short, the makeup artist covered anything they thought didn't look perfect. The device was placed on your head.
Listening to your heart pump out she's so perfect, blah blah blah. Listening to your heart pump out she's so perfect, blah blah blah. You'll wake up one day.
Every classroom has the same 5 legendary seats. Anyone who's ever sat in one is built different. First is, of course, the back window seat, the class throne. You didn't lose interest, you just surpassed the competition. Second is either one of the seats next to the teacher's desk, the class war zone. It starts with chalk on your head and ends with eraser dust in your face. Third is the back corner, the invisible seat. You can eat McDonald's and play Grow a Garden all day. The teacher still won't notice. Fourth is the entrance seat. You're the class guardian angel. One signal, and everyone knows the teacher's coming and you're all saved. The final 5th seat is obviously the whole side and heavenly freedom. This isn't a punishment. This is your reward.
How many commercials?
test. What comes after 8? It makes sense. Is that a G or a 9? G! What's the opposite of full?
Hungry. I'm hungry.
In a minute! What comes after midnight?
Snack.
This student only thinks about eating. He must be as fat as a whale. What comes after breakfast?
Second breakfast.
I give up. Let's take a look at Maxwell's test.